Hello everyone, welcome to my backyard snack yard. Or actually today, welcome to my living room. It's far too cold to be outside, sadly. It's a kind of weather where you just want to stay indoors in the warmth and dream of summer days and especially summer bowls of berries. I so missed that during the winter. But I was thinking that now is a good time to, as well planning our gardens for the new year, it's a good time to start celebrating 2023, and I've made up a little list of my backyard berry awards. So I thought I'd get right into it. I've got a few to get through, and it's all the ones that just did best in my garden. My garden is a really small town garden, and I have to put lots of my plants in pots for various reasons, but we'll get to that as we go through the list. So first of all, the first award is for best flavor. This is a very biased award because it's just my personal preference, but the award goes to the Chilean guava. This is my favorite berry. They are beautiful, sort of a good sized blueberry. That's the sort of size they are. They're usually pink. It depends on which cultivar you have. We have some that are white, but usually they're quite pinkish red, really bright, and they have this beautiful sort of strawberry aroma, and then the flavor is completely tropical. It's like bits of pineapple, some zinginess of lemon in there, but essentially they taste of sweets. It's like if you know those Hubba Bubba sweets or something really tropical, that's the kind of flavor they have. So my children absolutely love them, they're the favorites. And yeah, it depends again which cultivar you have, what kind of flavor you get. Some of them also have little bits of herbiness in them, like you get the ones we have tend to have a little bit of oregano flavor in too at the very end, but that's mainly the little green bit at the tips of the berries. So you can always pick those away and you won't get any herbalness if you don't want that, but it's all just part of the experience. I think we really love them. They are amazing to grow in pots as well. So if you only want to grow one plant and have it on a patio, for example, because they do really well in a sunny position, then they're ideal for that because they're so beautiful as well. They're evergreen, so you never lose the leaves. You have to protect them from extreme cold temperatures. They're hardy up to about -5 or so, but when I get that kind of temperature, I do cover them with a blanket after learning from experience that they don't like the drying winds and they can get quite wind damaged. Yeah, so I wrap mine in just a sheet, and then that keeps them safe and sound. And then in the spring, they have this amazing amount of beautiful whitish, pinkish, bell-like flowers that are like large lilies of the valleys, really, really pretty, and they have scent to them as well. So you get this beautiful perfume when you go out to see them. They're absolutely stunning. And then of course the berries too, so tasty. And then they also have this strawberry scent. When you go out into the patio in my garden, on a sunny day, you just get hit by this really strong scent of really sweet, sweet, sweet strawberry perfume almost. Really, really delicious. Just an all-round wonderful berry. So that was the award for best flavor in my opinion. And the next one we're going to go to is award for cuteness. The cuteness factor is not to be underestimated, in my opinion. And the one I've given that award to is the kiwi berries. Last year we had a good year, and so very often the kiwi berry can get hit by frost, but we kept them safe and they just produced an abundance of fruit. They are little grape-sized kiwis. They're smooth-skinned and they're extra sweet. They haven't got that same tartness or sharpness that the usual fuzzy ones we get in supermarkets have. And of course they're much smaller. They have different cute names as well, such as cocktail kiwi, baby kiwi, you know, lots of things to indicate just how cute they are. And they have the extra sweet flavor to them. So really, really a big hit with my children as well. Absolutely gorgeous little berries to grow. They start off with these really tropical looking flowers. They're stunning, and then they develop into these little beautiful berries that actually ripen around the time when other berries are stopping. So sort of towards the end of the season, which is always nice. It's nice to have plants or berries that ripen at different times, so you have like succession planting. You get like berries all the time. And we tend to have berries from May on through to November, just different ones all the time. But there's one that always stays with us, and that is what I'm going to get to next. So that is, the award for that one is productivity and fruitfulness. Basically, it's one that does fruit from May through to November, and that is raspberries. They are not to be underestimated. They are so tasty too. The ones you pick from your garden taste so much better than the ones in the supermarket, as I'm sure you're well aware. So many people choose to grow them, also because they're so easy. And we have a few different colors. We have yellow, and then red ones. And the yellow ones were some that a friend gave us 2 plants, and they just multiplied and they produce twice a year. So we get them in the early part of the year. We get them sort of around May is when they tend to be, the first ones are ready, and they're the ones that grow on last year's canes. So they send out side shoots and they grow then, and then when those ones are finished, you chop those canes down to the bottom. But meanwhile, then this year's canes have then grown up, and then you get the main crop berries, and they're extra big, extra sweet, usually actually a bit better because they have had more heat from the sun usually. So yeah, absolutely amazing. So that was the award for productivity, because they just keep on going and they're so good, and you just get so many. And our berry bowls always had yellow raspberries in them throughout the whole year. We also had the red raspberries too, and they were just an extra added color. I actually almost prefer the red raspberries because that's my personal taste. I like things being a bit tartar and a bit more sharp, because the yellow ones are a bit sweeter. So again, perhaps better for children depending on their palate too. We also have a really small ground cover one, which is unusual. It's also known as balloon berry, and it produces these huge flowers. It stays really short, the flowers are enormous, and then they're followed by really, really big raspberries. And so the raspberries are about sort of 3 centimeters in diameter, I think. They're actually really large, but they have a different flavor. They almost taste a little bit like strawberries. They're milder, so they're also known as the strawberry raspberry. It's a totally different sort of flavor going on there. And but they're really tasty and they're really fun, and they're really small, and you can use them as ground cover. And so I've planted them all around the garden now. They die down completely during the winter, so they're just completely gone. You can't see them at all, but then they do spring back, and then you have this wonderful ground cover. You can go and do your little berry hunts and find them everywhere, and they are beautiful. The tallest they get to is about 60 centimeters tall, and then they spread through underground runners just like regular raspberries. So a really fun one, the balloon berry. And the next one I was going to go to is best in a container, because that's really, really important. As I probably have mentioned before, in my garden we don't have that much space at all. It's a town garden, and so I do like to grow in containers, especially because my sunniest spot is the patio. And so right behind me out there, you can probably see there are some, or maybe you can see there's some sticks out there. Those are lots of my blueberries that are overwintering right next to this sort of glass window here. And they're the ones that I feel do so well in containers, especially because they need certain soil requirements to be met in order to grow healthily and produce well. And that is, they need acidic soil, and they also need not to dry out. So by putting them in a pot, you can ensure they have that right soil. I give them ericaceous compost. I refreshen their pots every spring and give them a bit of ericaceous feed as well, specific stuff for them, and they just do so well. The blueberries, really, really excellent to grow in pots. I actually grow 2 kinds. I grow pink ones as well, which are really fun. They're called pink lemonade because they actually taste like lemonade, and then that's pink. They're really refreshing and more citrusy than regular berries, blueberries, but they're really, really tasty and really fun and really sweet too. So yeah, 2 kinds of blueberries, and actually blueberries do need a pollination partner. They need another cultivar there in order to produce best. And so you could easily grow pink ones and blue ones in 2 separate pots, and then you get the best productivity of your blueberries. So that was best in container in my opinion, blueberries. The next award is going to be benefit most from winter protection. Now, of course, all plants benefit, I imagine, from winter protection. Some of them do actually require a certain amount of chill hours, so that's probably not entirely true. But the one I feel benefits most from winter protection is the physalis. I love physalis. They are these beautiful, beautiful, almost like Chinese lantern-like little fruits. So they're like a beautiful, huge berry wrapped in a beautiful parcel. So lovely, like little presents. And you open them up, and it's just this wonderful orange, bright orange berry that's full of juiciness, full of goodness, so tasty. It's really tropical. It has notes of vanilla in there and a bit of citrusiness. Yeah, just really one to try. I find it's amazing. I think there's some pineapple in there as well. And I've grown them from seed several times, and I find that when I had to grow them all over from seed from scratch again last year, because I had some that have been growing outside. I keep them uncovered, and then they got hit by really cold frost and they died down completely. So they were unrevivable. And so I grew them again from seed, and then they didn't fruit until October. So I've taken some inside to keep them protected, and they're growing really well. There's one right here, over here, that's behind me. You can see how big it is. And it's actually got some fruit on it. They're never as good as they are during the summer, because during the summer, of course, they've got they get all the sun, whereas now it's really quite dark and everything. But I'm keeping it going because this way, I've done it before, when they survive the winter, then they start fruiting really early next year, and then you can have berries already from May, maybe even April, depending on how warm it gets, all the way through. And one year I had them all the way through to December. They just kept on going because it was a mild December. So I will put them outside in the summer, but I want to keep some going. And the ones I have outside right now that are still surviving, I'm covering them every time we get low temperatures like we have at the moment. At the moment they've been covered for about a week with a sheet. And that's all they need, just to keep the sheet over them. It keeps them from freezing, and then they stay alive, and you can see their foliage is even alive. I mean, I could cut them right down, but because all you need to do is really preserve those roots. So I've got one named the perfectly named berry, the most perfectly named berry, and the award for that one goes to the pineberry and the framberry. It's a dual, they're dual winners here. These are both members of the strawberry family, and they're both named so well because they really describe how they taste. So the pineberry is a wonderful white strawberry. It's stunning. It's white and then it's studded with these beautiful red seeds all around it. And it does taste just like pineapples. In my opinion, some people don't taste it, but when you pick them straight off the plant and they're sun warmed and they're great, you can just taste this sweetness and this pineapple-iness, this little citrusy zing, and it's just a great strawberry, really, really flavorsome. And the framberry is actually so named after the French word for raspberry, which is framboise, and that is of course because it tastes a lot like a raspberry. So you get the strawberryness there, thankfully. It's a strawberry, you still want it to taste like a strawberry, but it also has a little bit of raspberry zinginess in there, a little bit more tartness that you expect more from raspberries than from strawberries. And so that's another really beautiful, really great and aptly named berry. So those two won that award in my opinion. And, oh yeah, and I should also say that the pineberry does need a pollination partner, so having those two near each other makes them produce really well. The next award we have is year-round interest, because that's really important too. I mean, we want our garden, we enjoy our gardens much more when it's beautiful, isn't it? When there's beautiful things in it. They don't only have to be tasty. But this one has also flavor, but also just is beautiful all year round, in my opinion, and that is the Saskatoon. It's also known as the Juneberry, the serviceberry, and it's also known as Amelanchier alnifolia. So right now, out there in the garden, it's quite bare, but it's got these little tiny buds, and they are so beautiful. So gorgeous. And I think, I mean, that's as pretty as you get this time of year, really, except for the ones that flower really early. And then it does flower early enough. It flowers sort of in April or May. You get these beautiful blossoms. It's in the rose family, so it looks, the flowers and blossom look a lot like apple blossom. They're really gorgeous. And then you get the berries. And because it's called Juneberry, they do tend to come here. They tend to come in the end of June because it's never that warm, I suppose. It takes about, it's amazing, it takes 6 weeks from the time they flower till the time they the berries are ripened. So it's a really, really quick turnover. And it's usually just full of berries. They look a lot like blueberries, but they have a different flavor. I mean, I can see why people liken them to blueberries. It's the appearance, and also they do kind of have a little bit of blueberryness in them, but they're also got their own flavor. I find that they taste a bit more wild. They have like a little bit of a rose hipness going on there because they're in the rose family as well. And a little bit of appleiness in there, which, because apples are also in the rose family. And then they have this nut at the center. It's a seed, but it tastes a lot like an almond or marzipan. And the whole thing together is just this lovely jammy, marzipan-y, just really beautiful, beautiful berry. And we've always eaten them raw, but I imagine they'd make really good jams and things like that. I know in some countries they grow them commercially, some places, and they do make all kinds of jams and fruit leather and all kinds of delicious things out of them. So there's lots of possibilities of what you could do with these beautiful things. And so yeah, they have the fruits, they have the beautiful little flower buds and bare stems in the winter, the beautiful spring blossom, the wonderful berries in summer, and then in the autumn the leaves turn a beautiful color of red, and then you get that sort of autumn color. So a year-round interest definitely is an award for this berry. It could have won many other awards too because I'm so crazy about it, but definitely a beautiful, wonderful plant to have. And it's also grown ornamentally in lots of places. They just leave the berries for the birds. But you can get some that are specifically been cultivated to be even more tasty and have certain beautiful flavors to them. So it's worth looking into and seeing if you want to grow one. There's also some that grow best in containers. So it's always worth looking into it and seeing what you can find. There's an edible ornamental award here, and it goes to the fuchsia berry. This is a really interesting berry, and for ages I grew it. I didn't know it was edible, and the berries just got eaten by birds or dropped to the ground and made a mess. But it is a beautiful one that lots of us do grow ornamentally, and it's a great berry because it's always there. It's another one that sort of fruits throughout the whole summer, and you can go to them and you can pick pretty much daily. I've got 2 fuchsia berries. They're sort of hardy ones, and they grow out in the back, and I can just go out daily and pick the little berries, and they taste really sweet. They're a bit like brown sugar. They have that special color that shows that they're really extra healthy, and lots of nutritional benefits to picking them, and they're just really easy to grow. I give them a little bit of a feed during the spring when I feed all my other berry plants, and then just leave them to it. I chop them right down as well just before bud break, and they shoot back up again and really benefit from that pruning too. So they are really gorgeous plants, and if you already have one, you might as well go and taste if you have a good one, because the flavor does depend on which cultivar you have, and there are lots of them out there. I'm actually trying to grow one from seed. I started it 2 years ago, and it has yet to flower, but I'm hoping that next year will be warmer and they might start fruiting, and that is Fuchsia boliviana, and it's meant to have berries that taste a bit figgy, a bit kiwi-like, just really flavoursome, and they grow them commercially in Bolivia, where it comes from. So that would be really exciting. The flowers themselves are really long too, just droopy and beautiful. So yeah, that one deserves the ornamental award for sure, but also it's a great one to have as an edible too. And actually, originally it came over with the Romans to England as an edible. They actually brought it over as a food crop. So they used to know how to use it, I suppose. It was one that they really enjoyed, which is really interesting. So I'm nearly at the end now, and I'm going to say the last one I've got is, it's called Old Time Charm. And that's because it's one that's been used in England for a long time. It's quite traditional, and it's a really lovely, really interesting berry, and I think it should be more popular in our gardens, and it is the gooseberry. I love this one, and really often if you look it up, it's confused with the physalis, because the physalis is also known as the Cape gooseberry, but this gooseberry is totally different. I grow 2 different colors. I found them in my local supermarket a few years ago, and there are red ones and green ones, and they're both hin mucky, so it's supposed to be quite resistant to mildew, because that can be an issue with gooseberries. And they grow beautifully. I had some wonderful berries, really, really flavoursome, and you can make all kinds of things with them. Mine grow quite close to rhubarbs, and it's something that you tend to make like gooseberry and rhubarb fools. That's like a dessert. I think it has like cream in it, and oh, I need to make some. I must try to make some next summer. It sounds really summery too. So that was all my awards. I think there were 9 of them, so I hope I haven't missed any out. And I hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. It's a very biased award ceremony here. But I really have enjoyed thinking back and remembering my berries and looking forward to next year. I can't wait. And I've seen my first little beautiful honeyberry flowers. The flower buds are out. So it's all starting soon, I suppose. Really exciting. And that was the one I forgot. I had this little award for hardiness and quirkiness, and the honeyberries, they look really quirky, they really do, and they're super hardy. They're already in flower now. So yeah, the honeyberries are this really beautiful blueberry, another blue one, and they are in the honeysuckle family. They're edible honeysuckles. They're super hardy, down to like minus 40 degrees Celsius, something like that. It never gets that cold here, but they are perfectly happy to be in full bloom and then get covered by snow. It does not affect them at all. They can still fruit, which is amazing. The only thing is you have to leave their fruits on for quite a while to get them sweet enough, and mine tend to get eaten by birds if I do that. And I did try to cover them with a net once, and then they got a bit moldy, so it's about finding that balance there. So I'm just keeping on growing them, keeping on trying, and I like tartness, so I do pick them before they're perfectly sweet, and I still enjoy them. And you can also make things with them. So yeah, that was the award for hardiness. Definitely they deserve that award. Yeah, but do let me know. That's all the awards for sure. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to showing you all the exciting things growing here. These are just a handful of the berries. We've got so many different ones. I can't wait to be filling up my berry bowls again next summer. I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Stay warm.